I've become convinced that this country is actively trying to kill its citizens. There's just the sheer price of electricity is out of control, and we have like no options left aside from just like third party solar installation. So I have to do it myself. Otherwise, like there's no other choice. Like either we cut off our power from them and then go solar, or like you keep paying this like extreme amount which you probably have to be in debt to afford, and then even then you're going to have load shedding. It's ridiculous. This country is nothing short of a disgrace in its management and infrastructure of electricity. And it's a very simple solution. All you do is get Elon Musk. And I know he's racist, I don't give a shit, because he has the ability to work and he has an understanding of like technology. And so just get him in here. He's pragmatic enough to put aside his like ketamine deranged racism enough to work and implement a proper solution. So if you just get a shit ton of like Tesla walls and like Tesla energy packs, you can stabilize the grid and give us cheap energy. But no, they're not going to do that. So now you have like extreme tariffs, um, like completely annihilating us and making us essentially like electricity poor. So we have electricity that's expensive, making us poor, and essentially this can't go on forever. So we're gonna eventually have a bunch of people like opting out, and then the whole grid's gonna go dark. You're gonna end up with like a Cuba situation, because Cuba right now has blackouts for like 22 hours. So we're gonna have the same thing where we're just gonna have either blackouts or the fees so exorbitant that people just can't cope. So right now I have to look into solar, and it's probably gonna cost like all of the savings that I have that I've saved up for now for this thing. So um, hopefully I can solve the situation and then have some left over for in case something goes wrong. But obviously um, like that's the plan. It's just solar. Um, put it in. Um, get like an inverter, and then either I get an inverter and a battery pack with all the other stuff, or I get the panels and then just get straight a um, we call it a solar battery pack. It's like a battery generator. It comes in like from 300 watts to like 2000 watts, and it's plug and play. So you just plug your solar panels in. You don't need any kind of like solar charge controller inverter. It has everything on board, and then it can charge and then distribute. So you get a really big one. The one that I saw was like, I don't know, from 14K to 17K, and then a whole bunch of solar panels that can connect to it. I don't know. It's something that right now the price of the monthly electricity bill is the same price it would cost to get like solar panels every month and then put in a whole battery packing system. And there's like just no other way to cope with this. And I think I'm not going to get anything right now because June 30th is coming, and after June 30th, we know there's going to be looting, there's going to be a whole lot of chaos. And I know people are in the movement say that that's not going to happen, but we know the truth. We know how these things go. That's not even to say that I'm against like deportation and proper illegal immigration. I think any successful country has ICE, has immigration services that forces people to be deported, the most violent criminals, people who are here illegally. For a country to be a success, it needs to have those services. But obviously, the corruption of the government is not going to allow them to implement the solution. People are going to be upset. There's going to be violence. There's going to be chaos. So after it happens, after June 30th, wait for everything to die down, then we implement the solution. Because it's just way too expensive. Electricity is like out of control in this country, and it's all manufactured. It doesn't have to be this way. Solar is the cheapest form of electricity that we have, and it's also the most abundant because South Africa has the highest amount of daylight hours aside from Antarctica. Antarctica is right next to South Africa. So we have the prime real estate for really proper solar energy, and also to lead the way for very cheap prices. It could be free essentially. We pay all this tax every time you buy food, every time you buy stuff, all the electricity that we spend so far. We can essentially get all that stuff back in terms of like services rendered. And to have infrastructure that punishes you is ridiculous. You can't have a whole bunch of people staying in like illegal settlements and shacks, drawing on power for free, and then people who live in a house like pay exorbitant fees that are being crippled by the grid. That's ridiculous. Something has to change. Something really has to change, because right now it's just like blatant theft. It's theft is what it really is. Because like how are you going to afford anything? How are you going to afford anything to like in the next month if you have like this much in electricity, this much in all sorts of stuff? Inflation is like completely destroying your groceries. So you like we just have no other choice. And I know the thing is that they said that they'll fine people, they'll fine us if we have solar and we don't register, and then pay them for free sunlight that we're getting. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Those are fighting words. Um, the audacity of them to try and charge for the sunlight that is free. It's like saying you have an oxygen tax. That's ridiculous. Which I don't put it past them to try and implement. I mean, we're at a stage now where like we really need like deep-seated infrastructural change, and it's not going to change unless we take it into our own hands. And um, now it's just a matter of like if they're going to punish us regardless, like punish us just for using electricity, then we'd much rather just risk it and go solar. Okay. And so I'm just hoping I can get things for like really cheap, really effective, that doesn't cost me too much, and then also at the same time like have my job at the end of the day, at the end of this month, at the end of the year, that I'm being paid well enough to survive, and then have prices come down. And I don't think it's an unfair thing to want as someone who's very young to want to live and then also be paid well, and also just have the opportunity to work hard. Like it's not a sin to want to work and then do well. Like that's ridiculous. It's a disgrace what this country has done, what our government has become. Not a single ounce of blame is on any person, is on any citizen of this country apart from the government who has made it this way. And we have like blatant corporate interests in here, blatant corporate interests, you know? Like corporations run by like very wealthy people who are see crippled, all at the expense of like South African blood. Like the youth are completely decimated by these people. And I think that like some change needs to happen. And it's gonna happen on, like a family scale. Like families are just gonna not put up with it anymore, and they're gonna do things themselves. Chinese companies are producing solar panels at really cheap prices. And so I'm looking out for those deals. I think everyone else is as well. So things are gonna change on a democratic level by the people who just say no, and it's just heading that way. Who can put up with like abuse at this level, you know? So yeah, I think really like a change is gonna come. It's gonna happen one way or another. One way or another, something has to change, because we have a grid system, an electrical grid that has not been changed since apartheid. So all of this blackouts and stuff like that is completely manufactured. They have enough money to solve it. They've just been stealing it. So absolutely, like something has to change desperately. So one way or another, I think. But yeah, that's this is something I needed to talk about, I think. If you feel this way, I think let me know. If you guys have recommendations for really cheap solar panels, let me know. So far, what I've seen is like some expensive prices, man. I think it is artificial inflation everywhere. Hopefully, I can get them cheap. But if you have some installations and stuff that's easy to install, tell me, let me know. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like.